Be. Oh, maybe. Oh, I've been just speed training the entire everywhere we go. So yeah, I think it's. Let me go there. Train on Route 2. That little grass right before Future City. That's the only place I ever trained for Brock. So obnoxious. Yeah, but there was the same concept. Sure they changed it, but the idea was the same. You kill a thing, you get the thing. Like they've adjusted it. Yeah, they've adjusted it, but it has been in this game since the beginning. I don't know what that's like. Everything dies. No, yeah, you can. It still exists, just different because you could max out every single one. Like in Gen 2, you could max out every single stat, but you still got bonuses from what you were fighting. We did that. I just did that not that long ago. Because when we were doing silver, I would notice certain things would change based on where I was fighting. Yeah, it's like it was different, but it's the same concept. You just had because you could still go in and use each individual item. There's still iron and carbos and protein and all that shit. You could go in and say, I want to increase this up to a certain amount of point, and then you can continue to do that afterwards. And each Pokemon will give you so in like Gen 1, each Pokemon will give you an increase to all stats, but it's not even across the board. It's based on their yeah, based on their BST. Yeah, in Gen 2 they tweaked it a little bit and because they had the that's why shinies with the DVs shinies were better in Gen 2 because they were guaranteed 10s out of and like a guaranteed 14 health, I think it was. So they were, yeah, they were good, and then they started to be just less good because they were just even across the board out of 31 instead of 11 out of 15. Yeah, and they've changed. I think they changed it every generation until they got what they wanted. I guess feels like I don't know because they really haven't made a change since Ruby and Sapphire. They've tweaked stuff, but they haven't overhauled the system like they did for each generation up to Gen 3. Yeah. I think it was just the limitation of the systems at the time, like, you know, Game Boy Color, friggin' not even Game Boy Color, the Game Boy, and then the Game Boy Color, and then that's the Game Boy Advance. I think the idea was that you would, your trained Pokemon are better. Yeah. You have to train those Pokemon, and then you will be better. Oh, you wouldn't be like the protagonist where I don't care. No, see, the anime taught me that Gary was better. The anime taught me that Gary was better. He always beat Ash every single time. He always won. Yeah, was an Ash. I don't think it was Gary either, though. I think Gary had a humbling realization that you needed a little bit of both. You needed strong Pokemon and to like them. And then no, he was catching 50 Tauruses to find the best one, kind of thing. Like, yeah, yeah, that sounds like there's a lot of those because there's the guy that when he goes to Sinnoh and he gets his Chimchar and his Infernape and stuff, the guy that like got rid of the guy that got rid of Charmander, the guy that got rid of Chimchar, the guy that got rid of Cyndaquil, the guy that got rid of I think Cyndaquil is the only one that wasn't traumatized fire starter. I think Cyndaquil was just fine. But every single one of his fire starters is like abandoned because they're not strong enough yet. Yeah. You know what's better than finding six Pokemon that suck? Cloning your Charizard 6 times. Well, in Gold and Silver, there was no cap. So you could max out every single stat. So it wasn't that bad. But then in Gen 3, yeah. In Gen 3 when they changed it, that's when it became like cuz you have like 256 levels or whatever you can do. And that's it. You are capped on what you can do now. And that's what bred the like don't do everything cuz but it's also only for competitive play. Yeah. Even in the new ones, you have that little like graph that you can kind of see. It shows you like a little graph of you're like I can kind of tell, but I don't really know if it matters. Well, yeah, the little punching bags and stuff. Yeah, you can see it a lot easier in like X and Y been on. That was that was X and Y. I just did it. Yeah, they have like there's like little punching bags you can find as you're walking around. Your Pokemon will just find random punching bags that you can just punch, and it does a certain whatever value, and then you can go in and shoot the balloons. And as you like level, like as you do them all, it increases the level that you can get, which increases the effort value returned. And then like you can find like once you max it